This episode contains bad language. Listener discretion is advised. Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Same 24 Hours podcast. This is Notes on Nonsense, a weekly show with me, Meredith Atwood, your host, where I take a certain brand of nonsense and we break it down, and I set a challenge for you for how you maybe can get rid of that nonsense in your life, or at least be a little more cognizant of how it's showing up. So this week's episode, as I sit here with my stuffy nose, 8 weeks to the publication of my book, The Year of No Nonsense, and the stuffy nose is coming from the topic of today's episode, which is detoxing is bullshit. So detoxing, let's talk a little bit about what I mean by this. Okay, so as you know, you may know, you may not know. I don't know if you know what, I don't know what you know. I am almost 4 years sober from alcohol. So for many, many years, alcohol was my biggest brand of nonsense that plagued me in many, many ways. And detoxing each time, from drinking, from a partying, from a night out, from a weekend, I was constantly in a state of detoxing. When I decided at the end of 2015 to be a sober person, that is to give up alcohol for good, I learned what detoxing really was. And it was a very, very hard, almost 3-week process of going through the emotions of withdrawal and feeling what it feels like to no longer have the numbing mechanism that alcohol so beautifully provides, the big Band-Aid that fixes all of your memories and emotions until you wake up in the morning, and then not so much. Needless to say, I know a thing or two about actual detoxing from a powerful chemical such as alcohol, but maybe you're not dealing with that kind of detox. And that is why I'm talking to you today about detoxing from all sorts of other things. Right now, I am detoxing from sugar. And what I mean by that is I have been eating like an asshole for a span of 3 weeks, which is total and absolute nonsense. And I know it. And every day I'm doing it, I know it. And that makes it even worse, because then you're posed with the question like, why in the world am I doing this when I know it's absolute garbage? So yeah, I've been living that dream for 3 weeks, and it's been a bummer. And anyone that's in the middle of doing some destructive behavior, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And so if I sound especially nasally and gross, I apologize, but this is where I'm at. This is my reality. So today was the day I woke up and I said, no more. I'm done with feeling this way. And now it is almost 5 o'clock in the evening on a Sunday, and I took my precious, precious children to a place up here in Massachusetts where they have things that are allegedly the best donuts on the planet. They are called apple cider donuts. So I bring my children to a place called Shelburne, I think is correct, Shelburne Farms, to get apple cider donuts. And I know I'm not going to have one, because today was the day. Like, when I make a decision, I tend to do a really good job sticking to it. And so I was going to get them the donuts, bring a couple home for the husband, also known as the expert. And that was that. So as I'm standing in line waiting for these donuts, like, mosquitoes are swarming me. And I'm like, what is going on? Why are these bugs swarming me? And I'm just like miserable. I'm just miserable. I'm standing there and I'm like, and I tell my kids, I'm like, I'm sorry. I have such a bad attitude, and I'm sorry. I know I have it, but I want to get the donuts and I want to go. And they're like, okay, Mom, whatever. And there's like, you know, a petting zoo and like a tractor pull. And I'm just like, I've got to get out of here. I can't breathe for whatever reason. I mean, it's fall, which is like the worst time of year for me. Anyway, with my allergies, but like, I can't breathe. These mosquitoes are swarming me. And then all of a sudden bees come out of nowhere, and there's bees. And so I'm like, I'm done. I'm done with this. I'm in such a bad mood. I am just furious, whatever. And then I get a text from a friend of mine who's like, hey, your last podcast didn't show up. It didn't record all the way, or it's like cut off. And I'm like, what are you talking about? That can't be true, because I always check them. Well, apparently Apple Podcasts failed to pull through the whole episode, even though I uploaded it. And so I'm like standing in the petting zoo, getting swarmed by wildlife and then stinky goats. And I'm not having a donut, and I'm mad. And I'm like, what is going on? You know, why am I feeling this way? And then it occurred to me, oh, I'm in day 1 of detox. I am on full on sugar detox. Which, for those of you who don't think sugar addiction is is like, if you think it's not a thing, you're crazy, because it is such a thing. Sugar is such a drug. And coming off of it, when I haven't been eating a lot of sugar for like 10, 12 months. I've just been my diet's been tight. And for the last 3 weeks, I've just eaten anything that hasn't eaten me, and I haven't cared. And I know where the root of that is and what it's coming from. But needless to say, the logistics of it are extremely frustrating, because now I'm sitting here with a piss poor attitude on a Sunday afternoon when I should be like super happy because, life is good or whatever. Life is good or whatever. And I'm just experiencing a detox. And so this episode, detoxes are bullshit, is because they are, you guys. Like, I get it. They're the worst thing ever. And so what I want to share with you is how I get through these moments. And obviously I don't do them with grace or a lot of kindness or allowing my kids to go to the petting zoo, but that's fine. They're used to me by now. But the way you get through these shitty periods, whether you're detoxing from drugs or alcohol or food or a toxic relationship or a bad friendship or detoxing from social media, whatever, there are tons and tons of areas where you can detox. And the interesting part is you're going to feel like crap for the first couple days, maybe not days and days, depending on what it is. But the first day, a lot of times your attitude about trying something new or really getting your act together can override the crappy feeling of the withdrawal, but you can still feel like crap and think, what is this? And I'll tell you what it is: the absence of a substance that you have been using for a reason to cope with whatever is in front of you. The absence of that substance, whatever it is really hard, and it is felt. It is felt with everything you have, not to mention just the physical reaction from it. And I am feeling like garbage today, just garbage. And it's like, what a bad day to record a podcast. But I want to be real with you guys. This is me talking through my nose right now. This is me detoxing. This is me living with my choices for the last 3 weeks and owning up to it and facing the truth. And the truth was really brutal this morning, because I got on the scale and I saw the damage I've done for the past several weeks, which is fine. Like, it's changeable. It doesn't matter. I don't put a lot of stock in that. But at the same time, I have to look at the truth, looking at the numbers, looking at the facts of what I've done for the past several weeks, and choosing to move forward without beating myself up over them is the exercise that I am practicing with detoxing. And so when you choose to make a decision to detox from whatever negative behavior, substance, or person you are walking away from, be aware that you're going to feel like crap. And we are trying to avoid feeling like crap. Humans don't want to feel any sort of discomfort or pain. We are scared that somehow the pain that we're feeling will not stop, that we will be in this perpetual state of pain, discomfort, suffering forever. And so by removing the substance or the person or the thing you're relying on that was giving you comfort for whatever reason up until the point where you said no more, that sucks. That sucks. And so you have to realize that's occurring, and you have to understand it's not going to be pleasant. And with that realization comes the fact that you have to do some work around this feeling. You have to journal. You have to go for walks. You have to work out. You have to meal prep and do certain things that are going to project you forward and beyond this terrible, terrible time that is the detox, that is the withdrawal, that is the feeling of the feelings that you have been numbing with whatever you've been numbing them with. And that's tough. And for someone who is recovering from, I used to be a smoker. That was years and years and years ago. I used to drink. I used to binge eat like major all the time. And someone who's now sitting here that doesn't smoke, doesn't do alcohol, and doesn't try to binge eat as a principle, I don't really have anything that does an adequate job of numbing my feelings and making me escape and making me feel like, oh, I'm okay. Like, I have a blankie to soothe me. I don't have anything to soothe me. And that sucks sometimes. And it makes me really angry. And so I get it. I totally get it. I get what Monday mornings feel like for a lot of us who are trying to, not drink on Monday, and who are like, I'm not going to eat crap today because I had a weekend of garbage. So, hence weekends are bullshit, which was last week's episode. But yeah, I totally get it. And so my challenge for you for this coming week, if you are detoxing from something or someone, go easy on yourself. Make sure you remind yourself constantly that this is just a semi-permanent, no. It's not any sort of permanent state. It's a semi-feeling permanent state because it feels like it might never go away, but you're not going to feel this way forever. Now, some of the other chemicals that you're detoxing from, if that's your case, I mean, they may feel for a while. I kid you not. I tell everyone that's trying to get newly sober, just expect the first 2 to 3 weeks to be really painful. Really painful. And the way that I got over that and got through it was I wrote in my journal constantly. I toted my journal around. I wrote in it any time there was a feeling that I was angry or wanting to drink. And that really will carry you through. So if you're trying to detox from something, think about getting the feelings that are in your head that are making you want to do that behavior. Try and get them out of your head. Journaling is an exceptional tool, a very powerful tool to figure out where the root of these emotions are and why you're using these behaviors, these toxic behaviors that you want to be free of, why you're using them to cope with whatever you're feeling. So try some journaling, try changing your current location. And what I mean by this, many of us who drink or eat probably do it in the same place all the time. We're either standing in the kitchen or sitting in our favorite chair. Try and go somewhere else during your detox. Don't expose yourself to the same habits and routines. You need to change things up because the detox is going to remind you, oh, this is why I was using that substance or doing that behavior because I don't want to feel this way. And here I am sitting in this chair without my coping mechanism, without my blankie. And so it helps a lot to just find a new location during these times. Go to a different room, go upstairs, go downstairs, wherever you live, find another place to spend your time during the detox. It really helps to change your pace. And then finally, don't forget to just replace the destructive behavior with something that's positive. No matter what it is, you can learn to knit, you can read, pick a new hobby, because chances are the substance that you're detoxing from took a lot of your time, a lot of your energy, probably a lot of your money too. So being really mindful about what you can replace that time with, something productive, something you've always wanted to do, is really a lovely life hack for detoxing. So good luck, you guys. If you're choosing this week to detox from something, may the force be with you. I'm with you. We got this. Moving onward. Until next time.